Madam Chair, Most Honorable Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew Holness, Minister Shaw, other members of the Cabinet, MP Ronald Thwaites, MP for Central Kingston, which is where the Grace Kennedy headquarters is now, building is now, the constituency. Senators, K.D. Knight, and Robert Morgan, and I'm sure Don Webby. Members of the Grace Kennedy Group Board, and Professor Shirley, Port Authority, holding two caps here, CEO of the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, Robert Hill, and I see members of the diplomatic community, members of the business community, residents of Central Kingston and other adjoining areas in the downtown area, other members of media, good evening. Well, I take my inspiration from, and being very honest about this, from the Prime Minister himself. So the leadership that you speak of within the municipality, I'm really inspired by the leadership at the level of the central government, from the Prime Minister himself. So a lot of what you see in terms of the leadership at the municipal level is really drawing source from the leadership at the level of the central government led by our Prime Minister. Senator Webby did say that this is a most important time in the history of our country to do business. And he, as a person who's leading a major business within Jamaica, for him to be saying that must be very important and something that we should take note of, other members of the business community and generally residents and citizens of Jamaica who have been investing in various, recently WICTAG and WICTON and others to come. My remarks will be brief. I just want to say that we are quite grateful to Grace Kennedy, to the Grace Kennedy Group for the role that the group has played over the years in the redevelopment and in their commitment to the redevelopment and their consistency in this commitment to the redevelopment of our city, and in particular downtown Kingston. This is a major step that they have taken, and others are following, and others will follow. And it will go towards making downtown what we want it to be. When we took administration of the council, we did say that we wanted our city to become the pearl of the Antilles, the light of the Caribbean Sea. And we said it was certain. We weren't hesitating. And we borrowed the term pearl of the Antilles, of course, from history, but we felt it was attainable, that we could do it. But that to do it, it would have to be a teamwork. The KSAMC could not do it on its own. And I believe that this is it's almost like Providence. This is a special moment in history where all the leaders in very important institutions, whether it be government or the business leaders, that all the leaders coming to take hold of key agencies and businesses, that they seem to have a similar vision for the country and for the municipality. And that is also very important in driving us towards the vision of Kingston being the pearl of the Antilles, the light of the Caribbean Sea. The light of the Caribbean Sea is very important, and it's separate from the pearl of the Antilles in that, Senator Webby, it speaks to our leadership in problem solving across the Caribbean, so that we are faced at the municipal level by a myriad of problems and issues, and some very complex. And to solve them, we need a special generation of young persons, a special generation of leaders, of problem solvers. And we believe that Kingston should take the lead in this. And so when we say the light of the Caribbean Sea, what we are really referring to is that we are taking the lead in offering solutions to the various problems, some complex problems that we are confronted with across the Caribbean, but across the world. And that is not, it is attainable. We can do it. We can create a generation of young persons who are solving complex problems. That's the municipality is bent on this. Now, as I close, I'd also like to say, because we need the support. So the redevelopment of downtown is also, so when we look at this stretch at the level of the municipality, we easily conceptualize this modern downtown Kingston along Port Royal Street. And then we look beyond the Port Royal Street and we're saying, well, we have to keep the architecture, the Georgian architecture, because we have to preserve that kind of history. And so we are looking at downtown at the modern stretch along Port Royal Street, and then going inward, you're seeing the architecture, the historic Georgian and so forth. And the municipality is bent on preserving that and making that a part of the beauty, the pearl of our city. But very important to that is the center of the city when designed, which is the parade. So the parade area is really the intersection between Queen Street and King Street. That was the design when it was first designed. And the parade area is rich in history. It's where we have Coke Methodist Church, Kingston Parish Church, the Jubilee Market, St. William Grant Park, Ward Theatre, and very close by, Liberty Hall and the Houses of Parliament. So it's an area rich in history. For us, it cannot remain the way it is. And we can't speak of the redevelopment of downtown and the pearl of the Antilles and this vibrant city without taking a serious look at parade. Our view at the KSAMC, we need to increase, well, put it this way, we need to semi-pedestrianize parade. We need to semi-pedestrianize it. And so it ought to become a part, and it cannot be done just by the municipalities. It has to be a cooperative and collaborative effort between the central government, the local government, and all the agencies. And let us focus on really redeveloping and structuring and ordering parade. We can do it. I mean, persons are kind of fearful because the culture there is kind of, it's settled the culture in the parade. But we believe that you can change behavior through design. So we believe that if we redesign, we can begin to, well, not control behavior, but we can begin to guide behavior through design. And that is something, I know the architects and so will tell you that. So we need to look at that. We have, as part of our suggestion for that, we have said, let's relocate the buses. We have properties at Petron Street and Darling Street that are now bus areas, bus terminus, that we believe that we can build a proper transport center at Darling Street, Petron Street, one property owned by the municipality. So we can do that. We take the buses out of the parade area because it's an area too rich in history. Not for it to, it must speak to our history. That area must speak to our history. 3,000 persons died approximately in the 9/11. And there are monuments there remembering that. 1,000 persons or over died in the 1907 earthquake and the subsequent fires in our city. And we believe that that parade area, we can have appropriate monuments there also, so mix in with the pedestrianization and the mixture of restaurants and shops, and that those that would enhance commerce and business would be our history. So we believe that that is important. Some may say, as I close, some may say, well, we already have a bus terminus, a transport center. Really looking at where downtown is going now, I do not believe that where the transport area is now along Water Lane is where you'd want a transport center on your waterfront. So I personally believe it's not the location for a transport center. We can find better use for that area now. Some may say, well, we spent $400 million or so forth, but then you can calculate whether or not keeping it as a transport center in the medium to long term is going to give the residents of our municipality the best benefit or the best reward. I don't think so. So let me thank Grace again for the leadership and for getting involved in all the fields and areas and discussions about the redevelopment of downtown. It's always easy to speak to Grace. It's always easy to speak to Senator Webby on these issues. Thank you.